Welcome, everybody, to an all new episode of On My Sports. As always, it's your boy, John J. And with me, once again, is my dog, and hopefully soon to be yours, even though he is a Packer fan, my dog, C. What's good, C?
What's going on? Man, what's up, man? You know, I'm on all my sports to fit all my facts, especially about these guys with the G on their helmet.
Yeah, you be on my something.
Let's go.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please, before we get into this, man, please drop us a like, share, subscribe, and comment down below on this fire episode. Help us out with that algorithm. But
In love, we trust.
We'll see. We definitely gonna get into it. But ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, please, y'all know what to do. Go ahead, grab you a drink, grab a snack, sit back, relax, and we're going to talk some sports. While you do that, I'll cue up the intro. Keep it locked. Yes, sir. We back, see. Another week of some great sports action, man. How you feeling?
Man, I'm excited. You know, we got the football season about to kick off. Even though it's preseason, that means it's on the way. And I can't wait to see. You know, I'm real excited because my Packers is a new look, new regime out here. So I'm excited to see what we do.
Yeah, that's what's up. You got your Packers hat on. You see, I got my Bears, Justin Fields, Terence, y'all. So why not? Let's just kick it off there, man. Preseason is going. So what's your takeaway so far? Your boys played against Cincinnati. Had an impressive showing. Talk about
it. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's only so much you can really take out of preseason because, you know, you really don't want to play your starters, you know, because you don't want a chance of getting injured. Kind of like some of the things we talked about on the last episode. At the same time, you don't want to go out there and give them a bag of tricks because you don't want to have, you know, the opposing teams get too much tape on your players out there. But you still try to show what you got. So it's real tricky when it comes to preseason, man. And that's mostly for the guys that's trying to get a job. So to me, it's kind of like watching like the college bench players out there. And, you know, them guys trying to fight for positions. But at the end of the day, something's better than nothing.
Yeah, no doubt. So just real quick, talk about the performance. You know, since you're a Packers fan, I'm glad we're getting a chance to do this. You know, Bears fan and a Packers fan doing a show together. I don't think this might be internet history right here. Y'all drop us some light for that. You know, bringing the beef together, you know.
That's it.
But talk about Jordan Love, because a lot of people are going to be talking about him big time this year. So what is your fan assessment?
Look, man, in love, we trust, okay? And I say that because this guy, he got 3 years to really sit back and study that offense. Not only that, this guy is going out there, you know, from what I've seen so far, when they let him go out there and just play, when they take him off the leash, he's able to really ball. He gets real comfortable out there. I mean, he's been able to make some nice passes. Yesterday, I believe he went 7 for 10, drove us right down the field through a 7-yard touchdown pass. I think the guy looks pretty good out there. He looks comfortable. Another thing is, sometimes you got first-round picks, quarterbacks. Some of them need to develop, and they need to wait. You know, a la look what happened to Aaron Rodgers. You know, Aaron Rodgers waited, I believe, his first 6 seasons before he got out there. It was 3 or 6 seasons before he really got out there. It was 3 before he got out there and got to do what he do. That first year, they went 6 and 10. Next year, we made the playoffs. They cheated us out their game against the Cardinals. Then that following year, we won a Super Bowl. So the one thing that I like about Green Bay this year is we're coming into the division. We got no-name receivers. We got a no-name quarterback. Our defense is full of first-round players, but no one actually they didn't play up to their potential. I really think it's like the last 4 or 5 games of last year. So, this is the first time we're not favored to win a division. We're actually favored to be in last place. And that's sad when you got a team like Chicago in your division. So, but overall, I really think Green Bay, man, this is going to be a good year for us. I think I'm looking at 6-10 or 6-7. I forgot they added the extra game. So I think we're surprising people.
She made 17 games.
It's 17 games this year?
Uh,
Yeah, well, you did the math. All right. I hated algebra. I love to multiply. Okay?
I dig it.
All right.
So you pretty much agreeing that they're going to be the last in the division, or you think it's going to be somebody below them with less wins?
Yeah, I always think that when it comes out of that division, you got Detroit. They look pretty good last year. They look like, to me, they're the favorites to win that division. Then, Minnesota, they seem to play good every year, but they seem to kind of be funky every year. And the Bears are who we thought they were. So I really think Green Bay are going to end up second in that division. And I think it's going to be second behind Detroit. And I think we'll surprise some people. We're going to have a playoff berth this year.
Playoffs? That's a hot take.
You heard it right.
Playoffs?
You heard it.
That's a hot take.
We there.
Okay.
We back.
Okay. You want to talk about back?
Mm-hmm.
You ready for the meatball homer time?
Yeah, let's talk about these backside Bears.
Let's talk about this 3 for 3 for 129 yards and 2 touchdowns real quick from Jay Fields. You know what I'm saying? One of the most exciting athletes in the game.
That he
got official weapons now. It can get ugly. Now, granted, I ain't gonna go all the way home. I know the defense was the biggest reason we was the worst team in the league last year. But they have made some significant improvements, man. They look hungry. Mm-hmm. And the connection with Fields and Moore, I won't go out right now and say they can develop into Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Like, it's that type of talent.
Man.
That type of talent. Yes. Let's talk about Diggs before he went to Buffalo.
He was
his first few years in Minnesota.
He was a Pro Bowler.
As was DJ Moore.
Then he had one bad year because I forget the one receiver that came and took over.
Thielen.
Thielen. There you go. All right. And then after that,
he went over to Buffalo, and it leveled up his career.
Yes, it did. It made him.
And I see the same type of trajectory for DJ Moore. DJ Moore numbers was comparable, if not better, than Diggs in his first stop in the same amount of years. Trade time comes. You got a better quarterback that you're playing with, a better system that you're playing in. Now's your chance. And I think we'll see the same type of growth. He was with the Panthers. He went to school in Maryland.
Okay, yeah. He was a 1,000-yard receiver too, and I remember them trying to. He was making some noise. Let me be clear, being a Packer fan. All right, just because I love the Packers don't mean that I hate the Bears. All right, so I don't want to fall into the whole shenanigans of me thinking that the Bears suck just because I'm a Packer fan. I think they suck because staying in Chicago, what I've seen have shown me that they suck, but I am excited. Whenever Chicago is winning, it's always good for the city. I just know that they have 2 guaranteed losses on that schedule. And the first one is going to be the first game, September 9th, and that's against Green Bay in Chicago. So I'm looking forward to it. So we'll be able to see these new revamped Bears. And the thing that's something to me, it's always crazy how Chicago's always been known for their defense. And now, these past couple of years, they're now being known for their offense, and the defense has took a step back,
Flipped it on his head.
Man, and actually it's kind of like the same thing that's going on in Green Bay. Now we got all these first-round draft picks. We have a good secondary. We're known now for what our defense can do. And I never thought it would be a day where you got no-name guys at the receiver position and the quarterback position, the tight end position for Green Bay.
I tell you what, though, and I definitely did not intend on this to be a love fest for each other team, but I like your receivers and the tight end. I pay attention to the college game,
Mm-hmm.
and Christian Watson, I was a big fan of. I wanted the Bears to draft him a year ago, and I felt like that he was on their radar, and the Packers snatched him because they knew that. But it was a smart.
He showed signs last year too.
Yeah, and I like Romeo Dobbs. I think given a little bit more opportunity, he's gonna get a chance to shine.
Right.
And he looks like he's probably got more chemistry with Jordan Love than he did with Aaron Rodgers, and that's just because coming up, they both probably played the second team a lot together last year.
Yeah, and
so they were able to develop that.
That's true. And then, it's a lot of pressure sometimes when you're going out and you're playing with, a known first, going to be first ballot Hall of Famer. And a lot of times with Aaron Rodgers, one of the knocks on him was the fact that sometimes his body language, especially in games, when these guys will make a bad route or they won't catch a ball, sometimes that body language kind of says it all. And sometimes for these young players, they really need that motivation from the veteran guys, especially if you have a veteran quarterback. So, that can kind of make things kind of bad. Now, what you have in Love out there, Love is under pressure himself because remember, this is Green Bay, quote unquote, title town, quote unquote. We're talking about the team for the past 30 years. You had Hall of Fame quarterbacks in that position. So it's a lot of pressure on him to go out there. And I think the best thing is, with him being new, like you said, you get better chemistry with these young pups that they got at the receiver position too. So everybody out there, you have something to prove. I think no one's really expecting Green Bay to make any noise. So I think these guys just got to go out there, show their game, do what they have to do.
Yeah. And another name I didn't mention, but the tight end, Luke Musgrave. I think he's a diamond in the rough also. So they got some really nice young pieces over there. And hopefully for their sake, they could develop that chemistry and build something.
Yeah, and hopefully stay away from injuries.
Yeah. For all our guys. So I'm hoping for that. But let's move around the division a little bit more. Everybody's been talking Detroit Lions. Right. Did you get a chance to check them out at all yesterday? I know preseason is only good for most people for the first couple of minutes.
First drive. Right, first drive, I didn't get a chance, to see them play yesterday. I mean, I was going to catch them on NFL Network. We play the games 24/7. But what I can say off of what I seen last year is the fact that, the last 8 games, the guys was playing with confidence. And not only that, I look at the last game of the season where they had to go in Green Bay. They wasn't playing for nothing. But they were playing, a lot of times teams can just give up and say, forget it. Hey, we ain't playing, pack it up and leave. But with them playing division rivalries with Packers in Green Bay on a Sunday night game, they came in there. Green Bay had that was playoffs at stake. And for them to come in and beat Green Bay, that showed a lot. Not to mention, man, that young talent, that team is just hungry. The quarterback over there I know he left the Rams. What's his name?
Jared Goff.
Yeah, Jared Goff, man, the last 8 games, I believe he didn't throw an interception. So, I mean, they got them guys playing good. They got a good backfield. That defense is looking real nice. They have one of the more playable coaches that they say in the NFL that he's a favorite. Players really want to play for that coach. So, it's not too much more I can say about Detroit, man. They haven't been known for nothing but losing. But last year, that team, it seems like they turned it around, and this year it might show.
Yeah, they've kind of made the transition to the new NFL. Speed, creative play calling. I love the kid, Jameson Williams, although he didn't get a chance to play much last year with an injury, and then he'll start off the first 6 games, I believe, with a suspension this year. Gambling.
That's the receiver, right?
Yeah, out of Alabama.
Right.
Another Alabama guy that got this year, Jahmyr Gibbs. Probably my favorite running back in the draft. Not a knock on Bijan Robinson. I love him too. But there's the speed, shiftiness of Gibbs. You can play him so many different type of ways. And the 1-2 punch of him and David Montgomery is going to be a problem for all of us. Good reason for the expectations over there. The history of the Lions says that at some point they're going to trip over their own feet.
It's the Lions.
And I believe the first example of that was the suspension.
Right. You know, it's kind of like that. You know how it is when back in high school, you'll see a girl that looked terrible, and then for prom, she looked good. And you'd be like, oh my God, that's that girl? You know what I mean? To me, that's how the Lions was last year. It was like, they're terrible. Then they start looking good. It's like, dang, this Detroit. But then, come this new season, you just might see that ugly girl again. So, you know.
They might come back. They are who we thought they were.
The hair, it ain't quite done, but it still look good that following week. So you never know. They might be a little mediocre out there. But, hey, man, like I said, all that I can do is go right now based off last year. The preseason is exactly what it is, the preseason. So, but I'm excited because it's good for that division overall.
Yeah, I think the division will probably be a lot more competitive and exciting than people are giving it credit for.
Right.
And then Minnesota, they just seem to keep finding big-time wide receivers. I'm really jealous of that. Jordan Addison, I think, is another one. Jets, Justin Jefferson, he's probably the best receiver in the league already.
Right.
He was voted number 2 overall player in the top 100 by the players, so they already think he's definitely the best receiver in the league.
Right.
So yeah, if anything, I would say I'm probably jealous of the talent they constantly get at receiver. They had Diggs and Thielen, they had Randy Moss, and now they got jealous and Addison. It just keeps on coming.
And let's not forget, you have Cousins.
Yeah.
And Cousins to me never been a slouch. I mean, I know there are games where he just don't. It seems like there might be games where he don't come through, but like when it comes down to you needing to get these guys the ball, it's the reason why we know all these receivers that they have. And that's because Cousins does a great job of getting the ball to these players,
Yeah, he's consistent. He's solid. He's not a push you over the top guy, but he's not going to lose it for you either. I think he's a little bit more than a game manager, but I probably tier him around Geno, but on the higher end of that tier.
Yeah, that's how
But yeah, you can win with it.
Not elite, but better than the rest.
Yeah. And then I also saw this morning, I got a notification said that Kareem Hunt was visiting there. I don't know if he'll end up getting a deal, but I think that's a good spot for him.
Yeah,
good Dalvin Cook replacement.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that I'm curious to see. How much. Dalvin Cook took a lot of pressure off of Cousins in that backfield. Not to mention, just little swing passes as well. So, with them not having him, how much of a piece will it be? Because once again, we talked about running backs. And I kind of want, if there's going to be any team to suffer, I don't want it to be in the same team with Green Bay to show the importance of an elite running back that you didn't pay. So we'll see what happens and just how much he really meant to that team.
Yeah. They got a solid one in Madison, too, though. He played a lot with all of the injuries Dalvin Cook had. But he's not Dalvin Cook. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. But yeah, a lot of firepower in this division, man. Like I said, I think it's going to be a lot better, a lot more competitive than people are giving it credit for.
Right.
But let's jump ahead to a division that a lot of people are giving credit for, self included. I think this is probably going to be the best division in football this year. And I'm talking about the AFC North. And starting off with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the young Steelers. They shown some signs of life, and they had a nice little offseason. What you think?
Yeah, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about Pittsburgh. I think that's a pretty tough division. I think they're going to end up more like the 3 or 4, the bottom echelon. I mean, they're going to be a team that they really play people good, but they're just not there yet. So I think they'll fall in that, especially the AFC this year. Overall, not just the division. They're tough out there. So I think they'll fall more into that 6 games, 7-win season. But the guys are definitely showing signs over there.
Yeah. This one takeaway I seen from the first preseason game was the chemistry between Pickett and Pickens.
Yeah.
That's going to be a nice 1-2 punch. And George Pickens, receiver out of Georgia, is looking like he's going to be one of those next superstar receivers. We're going to see him start to venture into elite territory this year, I believe, barring injuries.
Yeah.
So they got a solid squad over there, but I agree with you. They still going to feel some growing pains.
Elite territory.
Pickens? Yes. Yeah. Pickens? Yes.
Elite territory.
George Pickens? Yes.
Yeah.
I believe he will venture into elite territory this year. Yes.
I think he'll probably he might fly by it. But no.
We talking about absolute stud.
Yeah, that's true. But we're talking about the NFL where it's pass first. So you know how many receivers we're talking about? You said it elite. So elite being top 10. What do you call elite? Top 10? Top 5 receivers? Like, what's elite to you?
10 to 15? Because it's a lot of receivers this year. It's starting to build. It's a lot of young receivers is good.
All right, so you think over 1,000?
A household name.
All pro. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, please excuse John when he wears that Chicago Bears jersey. His facts just doesn't seem
You're not a fan?
To match. No.
You don't like George Pickens? George Pickens is a beast.
I put it like this. I'm not saying that I don't like him. What I'm saying is there are so many receivers, and this is a pass-first league. So it's kind of like a saturation of receivers. We're talking about who's going to get him the ball. We're talking about, is he going to get all the looks? We're talking about household name. Now we're talking about this guy's going to have to make enough noise as far as what is he going to do? It's going to have to be some type of
I say yes to all of that.
All that.
All that. Yes.
Well, you know what? Once again, that's why I'm excited about the season. Because it's a lot, it's a lot to look forward to.
Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all familiar, get in those comments. Am I way off on my George Pickens prediction? Or do y'all agree with me?
How about this? Is George Pickens going to have over 1,200 yards this year and over 7 touchdowns? Because if you talk elite, you're talking 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. Ladies and gentlemen.
I think that's a good stat line. I think that is a solid projection for him. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We're talking about a young receiver that's developing with a young quarterback. Great chemistry to the point where this young quarterback, this is his go-to guy. So this is what they're developing. Him and Deontay Johnson.
Right.
But yeah, I believe Pickens will get a hell of a lot of targets, a hell of a lot of 50-50 balls won. He will launch some guys. Did you see him in practice how he embarrassed Joey Porter Jr.?
I seen that.
I mean, he about ran to his daddy. He about sent him to his daddy.
If
like,
you want
George
to
Pickens is
your
nasty.
draws, then believe me, draws was on the floor. I mean, on the field out there. You know what I mean?
So yeah, I get what you're saying. How you don't want to throw around the elite label, but I think this is that type of dude. And it's simple. I think they got one. Straight like that.
I'm not gonna argue with you. I put it like this, man. Once again, this is probably the 5th time I said it. This is why I'm so happy the football is back. It's preseason, but it's back, baby.
Facts. Facts. I'm also hearing now they said that Joe Burrow Joe Burrow might be ready week 1.
What?
We were sitting here planning if he misses 3-4 games, how will that affect their season and this and that. Now I'm hearing he might. It's not a guarantee, but he might be ready week 1.
Well, I think that right there just shows you just where technology is. And if you look back 10 years ago, that injury, you would be out 5 to 7 games. But now with technology and these doctors and everything else that they have out there, man, you got these guys coming back that fast. And the thing is, this isn't no speedy recovery thing. This is just what's going to end up being the norm. So if he comes back week 1, I think that's great for Cincinnati and their fans because that is, one of the teams of the future. The teams is on the rise. Was it the Super Bowl? Just missed the Super Bowl by what was it? They were in the AFC Championship game last year, correct?
Yeah.
So exactly. So I mean, you can't knock that team, and it's good for football, man. So I hope he is back.
Absolutely, I'm a fan of Joe Burrow and that Cincinnati squad. I like what they got going in that receiving core. And I'm curious to see what type of contract Joe Burrow does get when he does sign, because it's rumored that he said he would take a pay cut so all his boys eat,
right,
which is very commendable. So I'm a fan of what they got going on.
I mean, how much money could you actually really have? And what I mean by that, and for you to be able to, you're still going to get millions upon millions of dollars, okay? And to be able to keep a nucleus, to keep that team together, I mean, that just shows, once again, talk about leadership. That shows that he's comfortable. He's playing with, certain weapons that he had back in college. So he don't want to lose that, And that just shows me just the type of leadership. That shows what type of teammate he is. And that shows that he wants the Bengals to be on that elite level for the next couple years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very rare to see young guys giving up money like that, especially going into this second contract. This is the first chance to make that elite tier money, coming off his rookie deal. No one usually gives up anything in that first big contract.
Mm-hmm.
For him to do that says that he already has his mission in mind.
True.
And he is a leader, like you said.
And he is a quarterback. So although quarterback money now is ridiculous. So let's just say even if he got paid and he was the 6th highest paid quarterback, he's still making $40 million.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and believe me, with the incentives, and I'm for sure they have ways in the office of backdooring these guys' money some type of way. But but at the same time, on paper, he'll be able to keep that team, keep that nucleus together. And look, I got a number of respect. People like that deserve a bag,
Thanks. Yeah, so I hope he gets it. I know he's going to get it. That's not even a question.
Exactly.
It's just a matter of time and what it's going to look like.
Right.
So, it's a lot going on. Anything that you've seen or you want to highlight or you looking for heading into the season?
Man, honest with you, my main focus is just these Green Bay Packers, man. Just to see how they go out there and play, because kind of like what we talked about, actually, just like what we said about the Chicago Bears. The Bears is always known for their defense. Now their offense. Green Bay was always known for their offense. Now our defense is starting to step up and play a little better. Like I said, the last end of the season, they really surprised me. I'm looking forward to see Kansas City and who can actually stop that juggernaut. And I really think this year, what you have in, I really think the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens, man, I think this is their year. So if they keep, if you can keep Jackson healthy, and with that receiving core, remember, they went from the worst receiving core in the league, they said, to now arguably the best on paper. So them guys, I want to see who's going to be the starting quarterback for San Francisco, because that is elite, a Super Bowl talented team, a team that they do have that's marked in to be favorites in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl. I want to see who's going to be their quarterback.
Yeah, and I don't mean to interrupt, but while you on that, I want to jump in because I agree that is an elite team. The quarterback situation right now is the only weakness. Not knowing who's going to get the start right now is between Purdy and Trey Lance. You still got Sam Donald over there as well. But in my opinion, not enough people are giving love to Seattle. I think Seattle is going to make a big play for that division.
Really?
And this is not me saying Geno Smith is going to have another year like last year. I don't think he's elite, but I think he's on that level like Kirk Cousins that you can win with him. He is a game manager. He's smart. He's still got some mobility. But the weapons that they put around him, the investments that they made in that defense, I think this is a complete team in Seattle. See?
Yeah. Look, when we talk about Geno, we know he did have he had a great season last year. You know, let's not forget, Geno was a first round pick, man. You know what I mean? This guy,
first and the second round. First pick and second round, something like that.
Oh, okay. I thought it was first round pick, but
that was the EJ Manuel. Yeah, EJ Manuel was the first round pick to Buffalo.
All right, now look at you doing your stuff over there, a little Wikipedia. All right, so no, but like with Geno, man, this shows you what it is when you go from a bad ball club to a good one. It just shows you the confidence in these players. It shows you the difference in front office, just how these players go out and they perform. Man, when he played for the Jets was a losing organization, and he kind of showed on the field. A lot of times these guys talk about that in the locker room. And when you play for teams, and you play for division, you're a winner, you're playing for a playoff team. We play for a team where these guys actually believe in themselves. Just the organization overall, man, them guys go out there and perform. I think that's another thing that we're seeing in Geno.
Yeah.
Just besides the fact that they're putting all these weapons around him. So, yeah, you can't go wrong, like I said, man. And this is giving Seattle hope in the quarterback position, which they haven't seen in a very, very long time.
And that secondary, they trying to rebuild the Legion of Boom. They got some amazing pieces out there.
Mm-hmm.
Tariq Woolen, I mean, he jumped on the scene last year, and you started asking, is he one of the best receivers in the league? I mean, corners in the league, and he was a third round, fourth round pick on.
Yeah.
And they spent a number 5 pick on one.
Mm-hmm.
That secondary is a problem.
Yeah,
that team is a problem. Watch out for them. Right? They're not getting talked about enough, but they could potentially beat Frisco just because the quarterback situation over there. That's the only weakness, but that is a huge weakness.
It's a huge one. Most important position on the field.
Yeah. So it's a lot of intrigue, man. It's going to be an exciting year. And the Broncos. I'm watching the Broncos game, and it is apparent that Sean Payton is like, we still got work to do. He played Russ the whole first half.
I mean, but do you blame him? Do you blame him for playing Russ? Man, you got to. That dude is terrible. He was terrible last year. He was terrible. He was worried about him having babies with Sierra. I want to talk about that too. I can't stand that name Sierra either. All right, shout out to my son Kingston, but I can't stand that name Sierra. That's my son's mama's name. It just so happened that happens to be Russell Wilson, garbage behind his. What is that? I'm not going to go there. What does that tell you about Sean Payton and what he's seeing in his quarterback? It tells you that man needs practice. He needs to be out there on that field. They had him out there for the whole first half. That means that this guy needs to find some type of chemistry with his team. Not to mention, he is known for being a player that nobody in the locker room likes. No one likes you, No one likes you, Russell.
Nobody likes you.
Right. You know what I mean? So therefore, you want to make sure that this guy needs to find some type of chemistry out there. Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah. So they definitely got to figure things out. And then my last take, I don't know if you got any more, but my last preseason take so far, these rookie quarterbacks. I believe that future is bright for each one of these guys. Will Levis, I'm not sure. Maybe. They got a nice team. So if he's solid, then the future can be bright. But all of them with a shaky start to the preseason. Richardson, Stroud, Levis, Bryce Young. So starts. Bryce Young, he didn't have a terrible start, but it wasn't special. And you're not really expecting special from a preseason debut. But
I was about to say that.
Yeah. But he went 4 for 6 for 21 yards and a sack. And you can call those struggles. So just some more work to be done for these rookie quarterbacks. That was my take. He's already been announced the regular season starter, and he'll get it together. But
yeah, I just think
some of these guys need to sit and learn for a little while.
It's just been one game, and you're absolutely right. We talked about that with Love. We talked about that with the great Aaron Rodgers. Where some of these guys, they sit back. You don't just get plugged in right away and just become great. You even look at Peyton Manning. That first year was horrible.
It was terrible.
And, that's some people, luckily with him, he was able to get it together, came out that second year, and he was who he thought he was. But then, other people like Johnny Manziel, they came out there. It was like, what? And, these guys are supposed to have been, some of these guys just need a little bit more time to develop. That's all I'm saying. So like you said, some of these guys come off the bench. They wait a couple years, they become great. You have other guys like Fields that have to play through the growing pains. And you develop as you go out there with experience. So, like you said, it's good to see which one of these guys, some of these guys are going to be awesome,
Yeah.
Starting with Love. And there's going to be other guys out there that we're going to see what happens,
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see, to watch the development of those young guys.
Absolutely.
But moving along from that topic, and speaking about the development of the young guy, how about an old guy that's fully developed and at the top of his game? I'm talking about your boy in the Hard Knocks debut. A lot of Aaron Rodgers love. He got a lot of face time, as expected and as deserved. But we got a chance to see Aaron, Mr. Rodgers, them fanning out over Liv Schreiber, and got everybody doing no-look passes. Did you get a chance to check out the episode, Steve?
Of course.
I figured.
Now,
what you think?
Let me explain something about Aaron Rodgers, man. And we just talked about people developing, all right? Aaron Rodgers' personality had to develop, okay? He had to show people more. He know that. And at the same time, this is the first time that people really intimately get a chance to see Aaron Rodgers for who he is. All right, because let's look at this guy's resume. Secret life. I knew he got the best friend ball boy that lived with him. People thought that was a little spicy. All right, I'm just gonna say spicy. You know what I mean by spicy, all right? He's a little unleaded. Now, they also thought the fact that he didn't get along with his parents, that situation with his brother, he had the height issues. I remember it was a time where fans seen him, and he was like, oh man, Aaron Rodgers, you're not that tall a person. Aaron Rodgers was like, yeah, I don't appreciate that. And didn't sign this guy's football or none of this stuff, So me being a Packer fan, I remember some of these things. So now when you see Aaron Rodgers, now he's out at these concerts, these games, and now he's out here playing with, he's really trying to be a team player, So I think that's cool, man, to be the veteran out there, and that makes everybody else comfortable. And it's like, man, if we got this dude on our team, he laid back like this, and he talking about winning. We got one of the greats. Oh yeah, we got this. So I think that's good for them guys.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I'm glad you brought up some of those, some of the history with him in Green Bay. A lot of people I've been seeing are putting the narrative out, since he appeared to be so cool on Hard Knocks, that the media had overplayed, overcomplicated, and judged him and said that he wasn't who he wasn't. But the thing I think of that is, yes, he does, in my opinion, have a history of being a prima donna. But he's also the new, even though he's a vet, a legend, he's the new kid in class. He's going to go over there, smile on his face, be the perfect soldier, perfect teammate. Now the camera's on him. And I always tell people, don't believe the version you see on camera. I mean, I'm going to give you my best at the whole time when you got the camera on me. I'm going to smile and make it seem like I am God's gift.
Well, you know what? Another thing on that is, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where, you really enjoyed a job, but you couldn't stand your bosses. And because of that, you didn't bring out and give 100%. Being a Packer fan, I'll be the first one to say, I personally feel that Green Bay wasted Aaron Rodgers' good years by when he asked for certain talent, when he asked for defense, when he asked for a receiver or a tight end. There were times before they didn't do that for him. And when you're going back and forth with upper management, that's going to cause a problem. That's like having a riff with your boss, and your boss is telling you to go out there and do this, this, and this for this company, for this organization. It's like, hold on, man. What have you done for me lately? So my thing is, with Aaron Rodgers, it's like a breath of fresh air. Now he's out there. He's playing he got new bosses now. He got new players. He got players that believe in him. There's been numerous teammates that came out and said, this guy's not a leader. This guy's in the locker room. He's prima donna. He's this, he's that. So he's been getting that from Green Bay. So now it's kind of like having a new girlfriend. It's case of, everything's good during the honeymoon period.
Yeah.
What I can't wait is once you get 8, 9, 10 games into the season, or let's say if they lose 3 in a row and Aaron Rodgers play good, but the defense stinks, I want to see how he responds to that, because in Green Bay, there was times, being a fan, there were times where you're like, dude, did you just say that? You know what I mean? And he'll blame other people. And, we talk about things that you're not supposed to do for him to defend his offensive coordinator. There's been numerous times where he had threw people under the bus in Green Bay. So I'm real curious to see how I hope this is a new thing for him. I hope it is. I hope he's genuinely happy out there. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing it. But hey, it's good TV. It's must-see TV for C's. I put it like that. Because I don't care what color green it is. Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. All right? I like that guy.
There's some people who just made to wear green.
It is, man. Hopefully my pockets will be made to wear green soon.
But it was cool though, just to see how the youngins was looking up to him. I don't know if you saw the scene where Sauce Gardner was right next to him right before the start of the preseason game. He was like, "Yeah, I want to have a 40-year career." I was like, was he being serious, or was he trying to get a rise out here? Like he didn't even catch that.
I thought he was just trying to clown him. I think Aaron Rodgers just be an Aaron Rodgers, man. And just kind of having his nose up, acting like he didn't hear it. Because one thing I know, Aaron Rodgers take a lot of stuff personal. And if he quiet like that, you get in the game, I don't give it. Look, I don't care if you wide open for the touchdown. Aaron Rodgers is throwing it 3 men to make it be a tougher pass, and the receiver catch it. Oh, great pass. But he had that man over there wide open. So, you know what? I like to see, But he hold grudges. But like I said, that was in Green Bay. Hey, like the good book say, old things are passed away. Behold, all things are new. So, you don't live in the past, the present. That's what predicts the future. And once you get in the ball club, you see them guys aren't relaxed like that. You see the young guys are playing around, takes pressure off the team. And usually them are the type of organizations where people.
Yeah, I like it. And then the other going on, I forgot who it was, where he couldn't pronounce charcuterie. He's like, I want to charcuterie board, or something a little worse to say that I'm not going to repeat.
Right. But see, them are all the things. Now we talked about how they were fighting and everything, in preseason. I mean, in practice. And you see on the other side of that, the camaraderie of certain teams where it shows these guys being a family. So although we are family, we can laugh, we joke, when we're competitive, when we get out on that field, hey man, I might try to tear your head off because that's when that beast come out. So, that's good to see both sides of it, And I am happy. I am happy to see them guys over there. I'm happy to see Aaron Rodgers because I want him to perform, because once again, there were a lot of years in Green Bay where it was like we made it right to the mountaintop, and that was strictly because Aaron Rodgers was there. So hopefully when he goes to when in New York, hopefully he'll play good, he'll show up, and he'll show out.
Yeah, and I think he will.
Absolutely.
They're poised for a big year over there. So shout out to them.
What do you think touchdown interceptions?
Ooh.
It's a good one to throw out there to the fans. I got I got okay, how about this? Do you see over 35 touchdowns, under 10 interceptions? That's the Aaron Rodgers way. Or do you see under 30 touchdowns? Here we go. Yeah, under 30 touchdowns and 15 plus interceptions, being a new team. You got your receiving core out there outside of Lazard, new receiving core, familiar playbook.
I like that. I think, because I think he'll go over 10 first year, but maybe 15, just 10 to 15, I think is solid. I don't think he passes 15. Even in a slump, 15 is probably around the max. I'm going to go about 38 on the touchdowns. Let's go 38 and 14.
Well, I have Aaron Rodgers with anywhere between 32 to 35 touchdowns. I have him throwing 4,800 yards. I have him anywhere between 10 and 12 interceptions. I also have him in MVP talk this year. Because if you do that, the Jets make the playoffs and they go on a run, then believe me, he will be in conversation because you're talking about a losing team didn't make the playoffs last year, to, hey, we were just one piece away and Aaron Rodgers will be that plug-in. So, yeah, I'm curious. And you're talking about the AFC.
Do you think that his effect will be good enough to win them the AFC East over Buffalo? And Miami. Don't sleep on them either.
That's tough. I think Miami are one concussion away. I hate to say that about their quarterback. I hope that don't happen. But right. But they got Tyreek Hill too. But you need somebody passing the ball. But yeah, that's tough. That's something where you have to go and look. I have to really look into that season, see who these guys play, see who they play outside of that division. But man, Buffalo is tough. That's hard.
Buffalo is tough, but
I can't call it right.
I will give New York the advantage with the defense. That will keep them in the game. So that's going to be a rivalry to watch this year.
Absolutely.
But moving right along. Washington Commanders head coach Ron Rivera got people talking when he said that some of his players had been coming to him talking about how his OC, Eric Bieniemy, was a little bit rough around the edges. What you think about that? Are these players overreacting? It's just the youngsters need to grow up, or is Eric B too old school for this generation and needs to dial back?
I think if anything, he needs to just kind of pipe it down a little bit. And the reason I say that is because the players are the ones that go out on the field and perform. And just like we talked about having a boss, you're not going to go out there and give 100% for somebody that you really don't care for because you're getting paid anyway. And then this is Washington. So nobody's really expecting too much up out of them guys. So, when you go to your head coach and you have issues like that, then that's when the head coach have to make decisions. And I think they get that situation right. But what that reminds me of, and this is a totally different sport. That reminds me of, in my eyes, one of the great NBA talents of the 90s, Latrell Sprewell. And when he played for PJ Carlissimo, PJ was the kind of coach that role players. He yelled at players. And when he told they were losing, and when it got to that point, Latrell Sprewell didn't have respect for him. And we all know the outcome was in practice, put some more mustard on your passes, led to him putting some mustard on them chokes. So, not once left, but came back. All right. So, so my thing is, when you got these players, and this is a different generation, man, So you got these players out here, and man, they go out there. A lot of these players are sensitive. A lot of these players only was raised by their mama out there. They sensitive, you know what I mean? And they don't know all that yelling and hardcore crap. But some things you got to pipe down on. You know what I mean? Everybody has to evolve, and so is coaches. So hey, everything in the way that you do stuff, you have to change up with the players that you have. So you have to make the best of what you have. And if you want the best out of someone, you can't be out there getting on everybody's nerves, man.
Yeah, I feel you. And realistically, that's probably what's going to have to happen. But in my opinion, this a man that's coming off a Super Bowl. He studied under Andy Reid. And we talking a Washington team that's a serial loser.
Right.
And this attitude is showing that mentality. Yes, this is a young game, and they can get rid of him. They can get him up out of that job.
Right.
But it would be unwise.
True.
If they want to be successful, I think they put your head down and see what it works. See if it works. You run into Ron Rivera, who y'all haven't really won with, and you got this guy who was proven to have some of the best offenses in the league.
True.
Give it a shot.
True. Once again, it's kind of like the saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
How you say it.
So, when you play with, every player is different. And you just made a good point. We talked about being a losing organization and being in a losing locker room, and the overall morale of that locker room is different from being with a winner. Yeah. Once again, when you look at Hard Knocks and you look at Aaron Rodgers is what? He's a proven winner. Okay? He brings that mentality, that atmosphere to the locker room. If Aaron Rodgers came there being a snob, some of the things that we heard about him in Green Bay, and he repeated that, then I'm telling you, it's not going to be the same, because players aren't going to perform the same way. So I feel the same way when it comes down for these coaches. So, they have to adjust. That's part of coaching. It's adjusting. Yeah. So just hopefully they get it right, so these guys could be, a good 5-game winning season. So,
Yeah, I'm with you though. Just for the sake of Eric Bieniemy, I want to see him at least pull it together. And let's just see what he's capable of. His first chance to get up out of KC, and maybe this is why he's not been able to get a head coaching job.
Right.
He probably has a history of being tough.
Bieniemy though, that just sounds like a villain name, doesn't it?
It kind of do.
Bieniemy.
You can be my friend, or you can be enemy.
Be my enemy. You know what I'm saying? I like that. Yeah.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us know in the comments what y'all think. Is he doing too much? Does he need to dial it down, or do they need to just grow the hell up? But moving along, before we get up off this football topic or subject, one last topic. It's Henry Ruggs, former Raiders receiver, received his sentence this week, 3 to 10 years from that fatal DUI crash in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
See, did he get off easy, hard? What you think about that?
Nah, man. Overall, that's an unfortunate situation, because
absolutely,
alcohol is a drug, and I hate the way they promote alcohol all over TV. It's sponsored all the stadiums, and it's actually something that crippled people. And I know you have to be responsible, but it only takes one time, and this one time was unfortunate where it took someone's life. So it sucks for that man to be in a position, to gain all the riches in the world, living out his dream, and get it took for him on an accident, but some facts, they said he was driving like 156 miles per hour. And it's like, man, you're either going to kill someone else or kill yourself or kill someone else. It's unfortunate in this situation. He took someone's life, a 23-year-old. So, I can't say that he got off easy, because anywhere it goes, even if you got 20 years, you still took an innocent person's life. And I don't think that's,
You gotta
that's
live.
just something, you gotta live with that, right? So for him, he's gonna have to live with that. Whether he got 3 years, I personally, in a situation like that, and alcoholism being a disease, I don't think that alcohol is a drug. Okay, addictive drug is a disease. I don't think that it's fair. It's hard because he's in prison. His life is ruined. But once again, someone's life is took. I just wish that they had some type of statute where that's what they stuck with laws, because there's been people that went through that, got manslaughter, and didn't get no time. So, it's unfortunate, So,
Yeah.
it's sad.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's very unfortunate. It's very sad. And just something since the league moved to Vegas, it's been problem after problem out there.
Yeah.
It needs to be extra security or something when your team goes to Vegas. So everybody needs to be under a microscope. But
Yeah.
I'm going to say that, in my opinion, and I wish him the best. This was an unfortunate situation, an obvious accident. But I thought he got off a little light, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
3 to 10, if, we know how it goes. He probably get out next year. He's been in there since, 21?
Yeah.
So it's been a year, going on 2 years already.
Yeah.
He might not even see 3.
He might.
We know how this game is played. You get out early with a brace, ankle monitor or something. But and yeah, I think that's a little bit easy for him. And I'm not crying for him to get more time. I just hope that he's learned his lesson above all else. And just, I don't know, just on some humanity type stuff, maybe do something for the family when you get out.
Oh man, I feel you on that. But believe me, I'm for sure
they're not gonna want nothing from him.
Well, believe me, I'm for sure they're gonna get enough money from him, from the organization, and whatever else they go through in court and try to seek to get. But regardless, it doesn't bring back, the 23-year-old. That was a female, right?
Yeah. And then, and that's why I think that it was light, because someone lost their life.
Right.
Again, I acknowledge it was an accident, and I'm not pushing for him to get more time. I'm always the advocate to hope first that the person can change their life. And I hope that that's what happens for him. Like you said, he's going to have to live with this for the rest of his life. When he goes to sleep, he's probably replaying that night every single night. But yeah, I do think it was a little light. I don't want to face lucky, because it's not. But
right.
He was a little bit fortunate in the sentencing. I just put it like that.
Well, let's put it like this too. Even though he's alive, he lost his life as well. This man, he lost his job. He lost everything, his money. He lost everything that he had going for himself. But he's still here, So it's an unfortunate situation, like you said. Hope he learned his lesson. Situations like this, I hope people around the league, not just people around the league, everybody, they'll learn that how to handle situations, to learn how to drink responsibly.
And I'm just curious, and it's probably no chance, but it's not black and white in the NFL.
No.
We've seen Jalen Carter race and someone lose their life, and he's a top 10 draft pick. We see Ray Rice get into a physical altercation with his girlfriend at the time. They ended up forgiving him, getting back with him, getting married. He couldn't get back in the league. So I wonder, is it over for him 2 years from now? Does someone give him a shot just to see? Or do they say, you got no chance, get out of it? I'm just curious. Is this a situation more like the Jalen Carter, or do they treat him more like Ray Rice?
I don't know, man. I think that comes into, the type of player you was, how coaches feel about you, about who you know, in order to get a second chance. Look at Plaxico. He shot himself, went to prison, came back. So like this happens with players. I forget who the other player was that played for, I think he was playing for the Patriots. He was like a receiver somewhere. It was manslaughter. He killed someone. He was able to come back. Ray Caruth killed his baby mom. Then that's the way he killed in Detroit. That was with Carolina. Now, with I forget the guy's name, man, but it was manslaughter. He killed someone. It was the same thing, drinking and driving accident, and he was able to come back. And I think he got another job with Baltimore. So, based off, look at Ray Lewis. You know what I mean?
Somebody got stabbed. That was a face-to-face physical contact.
And this man's top 5 in best defense ever. I mean,
this is the referee now.
Player ever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hey.
So it's just, it's not black and white. There's so much gray area. I would think that his career is over, but I don't know. I can't say that with 100% surety.
Right.
So,
yeah. At the end of the day, hey, man, drink responsible.
Facts. Boom. Yeah.
That's just
that is an act that will be chopped up and reused, I think.
Right.
But yeah. Prayers out to everybody involved, and I hope he gets it together. Whether he plays again or not, just as a human being, I hope he improves.
Yeah.
But football is here. But moving along from the world of the NFL, let's talk about some hoops. See?
Yeah.
And, by the time this show airs, it will have already happened. But at the time of this recording on Saturday, it hasn't happened yet. But tonight is the induction of the Hall of Fame, the Indian Hall of Fame, led by D-Wade, Dirk Nowitzki. You got Becky Hammond, you got Coach Pop. Somebody's playing, see? How about some of your
Tony Parker.
Pau Gasol, Tony Parker. Keep it going.
Yeah. Big Dirty fan,
What's some of your favorite moments from this class that you can think of? One of your favorite moments?
It's four guys in particular outside of Coach Pop. You got Dirk Nowitzki, you got Tony Parker, Paul Gasol, and D-Wade. And one of the reasons why I'm so proud of Dwayne Wade is because him coming up from Roberts, me growing up in Markham, and actually seeing this guy, but playing against him, and some of the wars that we had together, being able to help develop that talent out there. That I'm real happy that Dwayne Wade went from challenging someone like me to actually becoming arguably the third best shooting guard behind the late Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. So I'm real proud of him. Well, I already gave myself that. I like to thank myself for that. It's a shout out to myself. So, for him him getting there, put into the Hall of Fame, there's a little part of me that feel that I'm getting put into the Hall of Fame. Just based off of, like I said, our wars in the trenches that we had, back in the heyday of Comar and Central Park. Shout out to the Bulldogs, Central Park Bulldogs.
Yeah, hey, you can get you a shirt made, Hoop with me, I send you pro. I send you to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think I might do that. It's going to be something like HWM will get you HOF. All right.
Hey, shout out.
Yeah, shout out, man.
I think aside from the well-known moments, the D-Wade and LeBron Miami moments, and the Wade and Shaq moments, which is probably one of my favorites, is that young D-Wade when he earns that name Flash. He just come down with reckless abandonment. I love that. But Pau Gasol, I'm glad to see Pau get it. The Lakers 2 rings better, but the Bulls, man, he played with D Rose, man, and did very well for our squad, and so it's always gonna be love.
Yeah, I also look, man. I like Tony Parker because one of the things, and Coach Pop. Yeah, because of Coach Pop, you have people like Tony Parker. You have Ginobili, of course Tim Duncan, but no one thought Tony Parker's career was going to pan out for him to end up being a Hall of Fame player. He was
Mr. Eagle Longoria.
Yeah, but this guy, he came into the league and he was like some of the first transitional players from being on the other side of the globe to come over here. And let's just face it, based off Dream Team talent back in the day, winning from average margin of victories of being 35, 40 points to actually having games now where they're interesting, competition. Tony Parker was part of that regime that came first. And I really think that them guys probably didn't get respected by the league. They went out there and you was a marked man every night. Oh, I'm going against Tony Parker? Okay, cool. And so he had to go out there and show and prove. And I think that, just like the coaches going to the Hall of Fame and Pop, he was blessed to be under a Hall of Fame type coach and played into that system. And I think he won 4 or 5 rings. So, that's what I'm saying. That's a good look for a guy that people kind of wrote off just to be the average nobody, and people forgot about him to, going into the Hall of Fame tonight. So, hats off to him.
You're right. At his heyday, everybody else was talked about. You didn't hear Tony Parker as the marquee matchup, but he had work for everybody.
He did. Yeah. And let's not forget, you played, when we talk about an era, outside of David Robinson, you played with Tim Duncan, Hall of Famer. You played with Adam Ginobili, Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? So you had played with 2 other Hall of Famers on your team, and you still made it to the Hall of Fame. So that shows you during that time, that shows you that, let's just say within that decade, San Antonio, that shows you about that organization. That also shows you just about that system where within 10 years, you guys may won 5 rings. And, let's say 10 to 15 years, you got 5 rings and you got 4 to 5 players or 4 players and a coach that's in the Hall of Fame, so that's amazing. If you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, after that, Dirk probably had one of the most impressive finals victories ever. One of the toughest teams to go against, with those Miami Heatles. Where would you rank Dirk in your all-time power forwards?
It's kind of tough. He'll definitely be in the top 10, but Dirk to me played more like a small forward because he was like that hybrid player when they start to come out. It wasn't like he was just a solid 4. He wasn't a bang him all day and go grab rebounds. He was more of off the dribble. He was a 7-footer. He was something different. He was like a Larry Bird, a 7-foot Larry Bird, if you ask me. So but you can't take nothing away from him. But he was, like I said, if I put him in my top 10, I really have to take some time to think about that. But hey, maybe that's a question you should ask the fans.
Absolutely, go ask the fans. So y'all let me know in those comments. What was y'all rank there?
I give him.
I probably put myself in probably
like
around
8,
5-ish.
You give him 5. I was gonna say about 8, 7.
I'm trying to think in my head who I would put in front of him. I think that I would put Duncan as my number 1.
Okay, yeah, Duncan. Kevin
Who
Garnett.
else would I put in front of him? Is KG my number 2? I'm not sure, but I definitely got him over Dirk. Just names over Dirk. I will put KG over Dirk. Yes.
Okay.
KG rebounded, played D, and was a really good passer. Very underrated. Charles Barkley. What about 𝑐𝒏 𝑴𝒚? That's a close one. I think I put Dirk over 𝑐𝒏 𝒚.
Yeah, I'll put Dirk over 𝑐𝒏 𝒚. He was more durable too. 𝑐𝒏 𝒚 had some injuries. And then he was more of a winner than 𝑐𝒏 𝒚. Let's see.
It's still early in his career. His book is still being written, but I think he's done enough where I probably put Giannis above him.
Yeah, I put Giannis. Yeah, Karl Malone I put over him. So that's 5 players we just said right there. And like I said, to me, I think he falls somewhere within that 7 to, like I said, I give him 7 through 9, somewhere in there,
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so y'all, ladies and gentlemen, y'all listening, let me know where y'all got him slotted in. You said what, Steve?
I'm saying, no, he was respected, great career,
Absolutely. That's shooting.
And he married an African woman.
Facts.
He married an African woman.
Facts. Talk about it.
And that
he like him a little chocolate latte.
Hey, that's the only 7-foot white man I seen in 𝑑𝙞𝑐𝒏.
In German, that's it.
Man, you dig, So he ride
around with 𝑑𝙞𝑐𝒏. We all want to go like
So he listening to �Ա𝐾ON, got a 𝑑𝙞𝑐𝒏 on, hopping out of a Benz. German engineer, baby. Gotta respect it.
Yeah. So much love for him. Congratulations to that 2023 Hall of Fame class.
Absolutely.
Well deserved for each and every one of you guys. Becky Hammond, a legend. I thought that she would have stuck around with San Antonio and been next in line to be the head coach. Right. I still think she'll be the first female head coach in the NBA. But yeah, moving along, man. It's been all quiet on the Damian Lillard front lately. But I thought this was interesting when I saw this. See, did you know that if Damian Lillard does get traded to the Eastern Conference, he could be the first guard to make an All-NBA team since Derrick Rose in 2011.
Derrick Rose. Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Something. Yeah, that's something. I mean,
since 2011, no guard in the East.
Something.
I was thinking about that the other day. Like, that sounds absolutely crazy, but then you think about it. Kyrie with his inconsistency. I mean, he should have been on that list many times over.
True.
But, I mean, you've had Russ out west. You've had Harden out west. Booker. Chris Paul. Chris Paul was good at that time. Who did you say?
Yeah,
Curry, yeah. Dang. It's crazy how much firepower been over there out west, and it ain't been an Eastern Conference All NBA guard since 2011.
Yeah,
almost a decade and a half.
That's something.
Shout out to D-Rose. Shout out to his finest.
And then you got to remember, one of the people taking the spots out west was Lillard,
Yeah. That's sick.
Yeah. I mean, this guy last year, man, I think They said something like he put up 32 and 7 or something like that. I mean, I like to see that if he did go to Miami. Make things interesting. Shake stuff up. If not, we'll take him in New York. We'll play small ball. Him and Brunson.
Oh yeah, I bet. He makes it look easy.
It'd be great.
But yeah, shout out to Dangtown. We want to see this happen. We need some NBA guards out east.
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you though, but the one that the last one that made it was one hell of a baller, Pooh Rose, man. Chi-Town's finest, all right? Man, I put it like this, and we don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but I'm tell you, Derrick Rose, I think if he didn't go down with injury, I don't know if the NBA would all the way transition to the NBA we have today, where Curry changed the game with the 3-point shot, because Derrick Rose was that kid, fan favorite, everyone loved, everybody wanted to play like him. So I think the game
was the man
evolved when he got hurt,
Yeah.
And if he never got hurt, man, maybe that's a question. What do y'all think he would have failed in the top 5 if D Rose never got hurt? What do y'all think he would have failed in point guards?
Yeah, facts. He most definitely would have been a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let me know in those comments what you think about that. I'll be interested to hear y'all answer to that. But moving on, another potential trade that we waiting to see what happens. James Harden and Mr. 𝑗o𝑒l Embiid came out and said he's gonna give everything. He's gonna do whatever it takes to help Philly, the team next season, as well as put an arm around James Harden and convince him to come back. What you think about that Embiid leadership? Do you think he'll be able to convince Harden to come back?
I don't think so. And the reason I say that, Harden made it known that he don't care about playing for rings. He's playing for the bag. All right, so Harden is going to go where the money is at. So wherever he can get the most money, that's where you're going to see him. For Embiid, what more could you do? I mean, everything you do, you put it out on the floor. I mean, you was just MVP. You deserved it. This guy does everything out there, night in and night out. Maybe that'll work with Maxey, to try to keep the nucleus together. Plus, with Harden out on the floor, it takes pressure off of him as well. Or it opens up shots for him. So, of course, Embiid's going to try to do whatever he can. He's competitive. He don't want to lose, But as for Harden, I feel, my personal opinion is Harden's only thinking about Harden. And he's going to go wherever that bag is at. So whoever offers him the most money, and that's where he's at.
Yeah, I feel like that too. They say that the relationship with Harden and Daryl Morey is completely fractured.
Right.
So with that being said, I'm with you. I think Harden has shown to be a me guy, and he's going to go to wherever is best for him.
Right.
So yeah, I agree. I think Embiid can try, but it might be in vain.
Right.
So let me know in the comments what y'all think. Can Embiid get him to stay, or is he out of there? Jeez, they dropped the Christmas schedule, man.
Absolutely.
The holiday schedule, man. It's like NBA Super Bowl. Christmas morning, you come down there and you unravel a plethora of fire games. We got a real nice Christmas Day schedule. See, I'm gonna break it down real quick, man. We got the Boston Celtics against the LA Lakers. We got the Denver Nuggets against the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
We got the Milwaukee Bucks against New York Knicks.
Knickerbockers, baby.
Knickerbockers. We got Philly and Miami. Hopefully Dame is over there. And last but not least, this is probably going to cap off the night. I'm guessing this is going to be the last game of the night. The Mavs and the Suns.
New look Suns.
This is a Christmas Day lineup. I'm digging this. You know, that Mavs and Suns, that one I got penciled the most. Like, you know, you already had a budding rivalry with the Mavs and the Suns over the last couple of years. And then you sprinkle in Kyrie and Durant into that rivalry. It should be fun. Hopefully everybody plays.
I know I was looking, obviously being a Knicks fan, I want to watch them, but the game I want to watch is that Denver Golden State game, because
that's
you got the champions, you know, against the team of the decade that used to be like the most talked about team with Curry and everyone. So it's kind of like the changing of the guard. So it's like, I'm looking forward to seeing that. If everybody's out there healthy, man, I'm looking forward to see that game. I think that's going to be a lot of fireworks right there.
Yeah, it's not a bad game on that night.
Nah, man, they hooked us up for Christmas.
Yeah, we got a hell of a gift.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, hit me in the comments. What's your favorite game on that schedule for Christmas? Definitely Dallas and Phoenix for me.
Got that Denver Golden State, baby. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then the in-season tournament. Have you been catching that? Checking out the little info drops they've been giving us for how that's. I'm curious as to how that's going to play out. But they have announced that the schedule is going. Well, the schedule is going to be announced August 15th, next week. So we'll get a chance to see who plays who, and probably get a little bit more details on how this thing's gonna look. See, you looking forward to
it? Yeah. You know, I was hoping that they kind of kept it the way they had it. You know, because when you talk about the teams that they're playing in order to get into the playoffs, right?
This is early on. This gonna start November 3rd. It's
what?
like a
so what is it then? Because I'm not too sure I know about it.
From my interpretation, because I still don't got it fully down pat, I'm not gonna lie, but it kind of reminds me of college hoops. Early on in the season, you got the division teams, like you got these little AC's tournament versus Big East or Big Ten tournaments early on, where it works. It counts towards your final record, but it's just like a reason to get the dogs out early, to get them going early. Like this, you know. Well, extra competitiveness. Like, we're gonna be the in-season tournament champs and the regular season tournament champs. Just like a little bragging rights, a little, you know, something like that.
Well, I'm not too sure how it goes, but based off what you said, I think that'll kind of eliminate load management a little bit, because that means at the beginning of the season, you'll have to have your big name players out there. You can't say, hey, well, we can rest this guy for this amount of time, so we got all the rest of the season to go. No, you're going to have these guys out there that might really show value to certain teams about certain players that you bring to your team, to say, okay, we need these type of players for these type of situations, you know, for whatever this tournament or this new thing is. You know, one of the things, and this is off of it, but this is why I wish that the NBA would determine, I wish the NBA will make the All-Star game more exciting. And the way that I personally think they could do that is if it was like baseball. If the All-Star game, it goes back to East versus West, and the All-Star game determines who's going to have home court advantage in the finals. So therefore, everyone would really play, you know, because 85%, 90% of the All-Stars and reserves that's picked are on winning teams. So now, if you know, regardless of what your record is, if you know that you're going to have home court advantage going into the finals, I really think that'll make the All-Star game way more competitive to how it used to be somewhat back in the day. So I really hope that they go about fixing that. You know, NBA, holla at your boy C's, man. I got you. Just throw me the bag. You know, take that idea. Take that. You can keep that, all right? But I think that that'll really spice some things up. You know what I mean? So I hope with this tournament, I hope they kind of spice some things up by having these players really coming out and play. You know, really making these teams, you know, put the players out on the floor that the fans want to see.
Yeah, I dig it. I will say I like what they've done in the last couple of years with making it quarter by quarter, winning each quarter. But I'm with you. I want to get back to East versus West. Like the draft is fun, but I want to see East and West as it was historically. But adding in the winner gets the home court is a good touch. I did that.
They're gonna go out and play. You know.
Yeah.
Because like we always talk about, the difference in decades is when Jordan and them played, although it was still a competitive game. These guys still was trying to shoot block shots, do everything. And plus, it was a different day. In today's game, everybody want to be your friend. Nah, I'm not coming out here. I'm not trying to have you score 60 points in an All-Star game. Nah, man, we out here playing for something, you know? And that'll make it entertaining to the fans, or at least the older fans. I understand the young people, you know, my son, shout out to my son Josiah. Today's his birthday. I turned 13.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, JoJo. Now, I know people like Josiah, he loves to see, hey, the what ifs, how it is on a video game. You put your team together, and now you got LeBron over here playing with KD. It's an all-star game. It's all cool by y'all. Nah, forget that. Like I said, keep that. Give us back something worth playing for. All right, so let these guys go out there and play a competitive game because they know what's at stake. And we all know how important home court advantage is. So,
absolutely. Yeah, I dig it. So let's go in the comments. What y'all think about that? What will make the All-Star game more exciting? And also, are you looking forward to this in-season tournament? And if you got some questions about the tournament, hit me in the comments. I'll get that answer for you.
And before you go on, and listen, put in their comments on how that thing works. You probably help your boy out, so that way I can understand it a little bit more.
No doubt.
Yeah,
will do. And man, before we get off the subject of the basketball of the NBA, FIBA USA men's basketball. The actual tournament doesn't start till I believe August 26th, but the exhibitions have already begun. The friendlies, they kicked it off earlier this week against Puerto Rico, and then today they play Slovenia, and then they play again tomorrow. Jeez, have you gotten a chance to check out our squad yet?
Yes, I have.
What you think about it?
I think, you know, they have a team full of good talent. I think they got a team full of players that's unselfish. They did what they had to do ever since that one debacle of the 1 year when they got the USA got the bronze. But what I will say, you know, hey man, ain't nobody scared of USA like he used to be, because Puerto Rico came out there balling. Hey, they was balling. And they
eventually got blown out, but yeah, they kept it close for a while.
They was able to give US their problems at first, but them guys was balling, man. And once again, we talk about Puerto Rico. So, I mean, I knew they were going to lose. And it's kind of like the United States, where the US, we're like, what we are in basketball is what Russia used to be in hockey, you know? So it's like we're the juggernaut. We're expected to win. You know, we have the talent out there. I like the team they put together, man. But I think now we are the hunted, and I think that these other countries are coming out, and they think they can beat these guys.
Yeah, I agree. And we don't seem to take the FIBA as serious. It's not the Olympics,
right?
But I like this team. It's a very young team, and if there was one complaint, it would be that there isn't really a lot of veteran leaderships. I mean, your vets is like guys like Bobby Portis, who I love and is perfect for this game, but he hasn't been on a USA team. You know, I
That's what
would
I like
like to have somebody that's been there. But I like the excitement. Like you said, these guys share the ball. They energetic. They fun to watch, man. They flying up and down the court. I like Paolo Banchero in that Carmelo Anthony role.
Man. And then you got your boy Anthony Edwards out there.
Is one of my favorite young players.
My boy, Jalen Brunson. Shout out to the Knicks, Chi-Town. You got Brunson out there balling, and someone that we people kind of forgot about that's still been a star, been consistent in the league, which is Brandon Ingram. Ingram's out there, so it's like
he balling out there.
He balling, yeah. So we got a lot of names that's like all-stars, not superstars. And I think that's good too, because these guys kind of like are under the radar good. You know what I mean? And it shows how much talent that we have in the NBA.
And it's not like to be household.
Exactly. Plus, there's tape on all these guys, but you know what LeBron James brings to the table, and these other superstars. Them guys are focusing their love around the world because basketball is a world sport now. A lot of these teams or a lot of people don't pay attention to these players that we have. So it's kind of like the B-side. So that gives these guys, like you said, it gives them pub to get recognition where they can really show their game and everything they can do.
Yeah. And shout out to the coaching staff. They got Steve Kerr, Eric Spoelstra, and Tyronn Lue on that bench.
Yeah. Yeah. 3 proven champions in the coaching. And, it's for the coaching because Spoelstra didn't play. But, the other 2 guys, they won rings on the floor. And they won.
Lue got one just on the floor, right? With the Lakers. Lue got one on the bench. Well, no, did he get one? Was he on the Boston bench?
I thought he was with the Clippers. No, he was with the
Clippers. Wasn't he? That's right. He did get one with the Cavs.
Would have brought him back 3-1.
You're right.
And Kerr, we know his resume. So, they got the guys out there. Spoelstra too. I had no respect for him, thinking that the only reason he was winning was because he had LeBron or the big 3 out there.
I agree. He won.
But this guy, he is a hell of a coach. Look at what he's done just last year. You know what I mean? Knocking out the number 1 seed, getting through the Knicks, and me being a Knicks fan, when I see them play in Miami, I was the one saying, the Knicks, we had a conference finals. This is wonderful. Wrong. That's all I can say about that.
It's like no matter who you take away, he find a way to get him the ball.
And that's signs of a great coach. Under that Pat Riley umbrella.
Yeah. So shout out to Team USA. I'm excited to see these young cats and how they can develop together. And I can't wait for the official tournament to get started. Let us know in those comments how you feel about this squad and who you're looking forward to seeing.
Yeah.
But last but not least, C's, before we get on up out of here, I know it's been a great show thus far. But Anthony Joshua, man.
Yeah.
And I hate that this is going to come out. And by the time this debuts, we'll already have a winner for the fight. But unfortunately, by the time of this taping, it hasn't happened yet. But it was supposed to be Anthony Joshua against Dillian White.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, Dillian White fails a drug test. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's failed previously before this. I think this is not the first time for Dillian White. He might be a serial drug failure. You might have to get him. It might be over with for Mr. White. Yeah. But stepping in was not a big name, but a solid heavyweight, a reputable heavyweight, Robert Helenius.
Mm-hmm.
He fought Deontay Wilder and I believe Tyson Fury. So, I mean, he's been out there with the top dogs. So, shout out to him for taking the fight in the last minute. And Anthony Joshua, man, he keeps having fights where the other guy doesn't fight, and at the last minute, someone has to jump in and take his spot. We saw this happen with Andy Ruiz, who jumped in and took the fight at the last second. didn't train for him because he didn't know he was going to fight him, and Ruiz ends up winning. So, what do you think is going to happen with Mr. AJ?
Well, I'm looking forward just to seeing this fight, all because Anthony Joshua is now being trained by what's Spence's
Derrick James.
Yeah, he's with Derrick James. And just like what we talked about before, what happened with Spence, Derrick James is under some pressure for being, manager of the year because, or whatever they call him, trainer of the year, because you see what happened with Spence. This is the first time Anthony Joshua was going out there. So we're going to be able to see the difference in his fight style. We're going to see if he got more of a boxer body opposed to being that he looks more like a action hero. He's too much muscle and too stiff. I want to see if he kind of slimmed down a little bit with the muscle. Also, I want to see if his fighting style changed a little bit. But we all know if he loses, man, James, this would be 0 for 2. And after mention, you got that monster called Canelo coming up. Like I said, man, this would be bad. Now, we talk about Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is known for having that glass jaw. I mean, although, hey, I seen this guy lose. I mean, I seen him hurt numerous times in the ring. Numerous times I've seen him hurt. All right. All the way back from the Klitschko fights to the Louise fight where that was just something. You know what I mean? So let's just hope that he go out there, man. I just want to see this guy perform, and I hope he get a victory, especially against this guy he's fighting. Yeah, to me, he's a no-name boxer. I don't know who he is. As for Dillian Whyte, I'm happy I'm saying somebody else anyway, because him and Dillian Whyte did fight before. Dillian Whyte hurt him, so let's just see what he go out there and do it. Let's just see how James handle that corner. So it should be interesting.
Yeah, most definitely. I think AJ should win this one quite handily.
Easy.
Like I say, Helenius is a big guy. He's a reputable fighter. He's been around for a little while. He'll give him a little something, but nothing special about it. He's just a big guy to punch around.
So he's a journeyman. He's a journeyman. He's just out there. We'll see what he do.
Yeah, the big thing for Joshua is to just stay on your feet and get up out of this jam so we can get that Wilder fight by the end of the year this summer in Saudi Arabia. That's what people wait for. That's what the people wait for.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm all for that.
So me too.
But I will say, as far as Joshua's his size, the physique, and everything, I'm cool with all that. Like his size, I think he's a video game made creative player, perfect size. For me, it's the physicality, the lack of aggression. You got the body of a mauler.
He's a nice guy.
That's it. That's the problem. He's a nice guy. That's my problem. I need to see some dog.
Guy.
If he has some dog, he'd probably be the best.
Yeah.
But he don't have it. Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping that he get from Derrick James.
We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see. So, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know what to do. Hop in those comments. What y'all think? Has AJ turned the corner? Or when he see Wilder, is he going to get one of those?
All right, but look, with this bum, with this guy that he's fighting, everybody got a fighter's choice. And if you got a glass jaw, anything can happen,
Yeah. Like I said, this is a reputable fighter. He's gonna have to earn it. This guy will take some hits and stay in there. This is a big old punching bag.
We have seen it numerous times. All right.
I'm talking about Helenius. Helenius is a big. He gonna catch some power shots and keep coming. He's not gonna drop like that. That's a big boy.
I've seen it before. He's been punched around by plenty of people. By Wilder, by Fury. I've seen it done numerous times. So I don't think it's going to be too much to change tonight.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the powers of be is not going to let him win that fight no way, because ain't nobody going to pass up that Wilder, man. Anthony Joshua fight that's coming in December. It's what I think will be over within the third round. What round do you give it?
I'll give it 5 just because AJ wasn't prepared for him.
Okay, you just being a nice guy like AJ.
But preparation is everything, and we talking about a guy that's not gonna just drop from. He's not gonna get an easy knockout.
True.
You could TKO him on his feet, but he doesn't fall that easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know how y'all feel about this fight heading in. You got AJ? Well,
of course,
it'll already have happened by the time y'all watching this. But do you believe in AJ? Barring him winning this fight by the time you're watching this, who do you got between AJ versus Wilder? And on that note, 𝒏 another great episode in the books, my man. I appreciate you for gracing us with your presence again.
Man, I'm happy to be here, man. Like I said, anytime I get the call and I know I can be on all my sports, then I'm here. I want to give one shout out real quick. Like I said earlier, my son Josiah, hey, Daddy love you. Happy birthday, 13. I can't believe that I am a father of a teenager, which boxes himself. All right, and my son, he gets some heat out there. So we're looking forward to moving him up to see what he do, in the Golden Gloves. It's going to happen real soon. All right.
Congratulations. Happy birthday, Joe.
Yes. And outside of that, speaking of Hall of Fame, there's a guy by the name of 𝓿𝓲𝓭𝓮 that it just came out. The 𝓿𝓲𝓭𝓮, all right? The number 2 second guard. When Jordan was leaving, he was a number 2 guard. When Jordan was there, he's a number 2 guard, averaged 25 a game, the 96 season. All right, everyone knows I'm a big fan of this guy. Hall of Fame, the man, all right? Even Michael Jordan, the greatest scorer, said that this guy was the hardest defender. He said it was hard for him to get buckets off on spree. So all I'm saying is Hall of Fame, the man. Yeah, he choked the coach twice.
And then that might be the problem.
I say. Oh, yeah, that is the problem. But like I said, Hall of Fame, the man, all right? Just like he stopped Michael Jordan, that's the way I would stop the Wade, and I just want to leave it at that. Love you, JoJo. Happy birthday, baby.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all still with us, I appreciate it greatly. Thank you for sticking around. And before you get up out of here, please drop us a like, share, subscribe, and jump down in those comments just to say hi. What up? But man, from us here at the On My Sports Show, ladies and gentlemen, we love you. And we'll hop. Y'all have a great week. Peace.